Hello there, my lovely viewers. This is Max from Vax and Fiction Studios here with another video. So, I finally watched the Ben 10 Reboot movie Alien X Tinction, and it was a fine movie. I enjoyed its theme about teamwork and family, Ben's character development, as well as the awesome action scenes. Clearly, Man of Action haven't gone soft. So, I gave this movie 6 out of 10. I know, that's probably unexpected. I did enjoy the movie, but I couldn't help but notice a couple of errors that kept it away from making it a great movie, in my opinion of course. And that's the character motivation and the power scaling that was displayed in the movie. As you all know, a character's motivation is something that helps drive the plot of a movie. Meanwhile, power scaling is the scale a character or characters are weighed, sometimes in contrast to other characters. Alien X Tinction, while good, failed in both regards, and much of this surrounds the evil Alien X, aka Evil Ben 10,000. Just know that for the majority of the video, I will be using both names interchangeably. But before I go on, I should warn you that there will be spoilers here, so proceed at your own doing. Basically, the plot of the movie is about an evil Alien X that's going around the Omniverse. Yes, they call it that. Attacking countless versions of Ben and taking their Omnitrixes. Eventually, this evil Alien X comes from Reboot's Ben's Omnitrix and eventually takes it away due to Ben's stubbornness. You see, throughout the movie, Ben wants to fight bad guys on his own. This is because he believes that he can beat them by himself, so he loses his Omnitrix and has to team up with a Grandpa Max from a timeline where Ben got killed by the evil Alien X, as well as other versions of himself, such as OG Ben, Alien Force Ben, Ultimate Alien Ben, Omniverse Ben, and of course Gwen 10. Initially, they are unable to beat the evil Alien X, but after Reboot Ben learns his lesson, they fight as a team and eventually beat him. It's only after that we discover that the evil Alien X is actually Ben 10,000 from a timeline where Gwen and Grandpa Max got killed by Vilgax because, like Reboot Ben, he wanted to do things on his own. And this is where I have a problem with the plot, because it's evil Ben 10,000's character motivation that helps drive the plot. If it weren't for him, the events in the movie, such as Ben's lesson, wouldn't have taking place. So I have to call out the inconsistent character motivation. According to Ben 10,000, his motivation was to prove to the Omniverse that he can do things on his own. Along with this, because he lost everything, he wanted every Ben in the Omniverse to experience the same loss like he did. Now that makes for a great character motivation, but his action in the movie is so inconsistent. For one, he solely targeted other Ben's Omnitrixes. He never went after their Grandpa Max and Gwen's. Sure, you could argue that the Omnitrix is very precious to Ben, thus taking it away would impact him heavily. However, that's not enough. He still has Grandpa Max and Gwen, so while it's true that he'll be distraught over the loss of his Omnitrix, he'll still have his family, which means a lot to him too. Another thing I should point out is that he rarely killed his counterparts. The movie showed that his target is their Omnitrixes, so when he harmed or killed a Ben, it was in the process of trying to take their Omnitrix. Most of the time, they survived. But that pales in comparison on what his character motivation could have been. Evil Ben 10,000 should have been a different villain than what we got. He should have been a Ben who blames himself for what happened to Grandpa Max and Gwen, so he pursues for a reunion as he searches for a timeline where they both survived. But this search doesn't go without causing some trouble. He has become colder and harsher, thus he attacks other Bens, falsely believing that they'll make the same mistake as he did, and takes their Omnitrixes, since they'll help him draw closer to the timeline that he's searching for. This then leads to some of the events in the movie, such as the confrontations with him, except instead of being an egotistical villain, he's a convicted and determined villain with a bit of a philosophical view. Of course, going with this will guarantee something changes. But overall, I believe it would have made for a greater and more consistent character motivation. It worked well for the Kingpin, aka Winston Grant Fix, the main antagonist of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Like the evil Ben 10,000, he lost his loved ones during a battle, but he chose the most genuine reaction, which was to sort for something akin to them, which in this case was a timeline where they are still alive. He didn't start hunting down other versions of himself. Instead, he focused on trying to bring back his family, even though technically they won't be the one he knew. Now perhaps there are some fans of the Ben 10 franchise that will recommend time travel. After all, the original Alien X possessed such an ability, but the movie made it clear that this Alien X is its own thing, just like it did with the other versions of Ben that we're familiar with. They are not the Ben we know, but rather alternate versions of him. To know more about that, I recommend watching the Ink Tank's take on it. The link is in the description. Then there's the power scaling. At the start and almost to the end of the movie, the evil alien X is showcased as an unbeatable force. He possesses self-body manipulation, telekinesis, teleportation, flight, instant disintegration, super speed, energy beams, and heightened senses. But despite these feats, at the end of the movie, he's suddenly unable to fight efficiently just because of teamwork. Keep in mind that this is in contrast to instances where his reaction speed was at expert level. The movie creators had to know this, which is why they nerfed him further than he already was. His quick reflexes? Gone. Telekinesis? Barely used. Super speed? Not even bothered. Heightened senses? Nope. And I'm not even exaggerating. Alien X doesn't even try to fight back when he flies straight at forearms. In one shot, he raises his face, but in the next shot, he's not there anymore. It's like he wanted to be punched. Maybe that explains why he gives up so easily. He could have done this, or this, or this, but he just gave up, even though a few seconds ago, before he was restrained, he seemed fine to continue the fight. Now, don't misinterpret my point. This Alien X could have been handled better in the final fight. All the movie had to do was have the Benz and Gwen use other aliens that were actually capable of taking on Alien X. Imagine this scenario, with Gwen 10 as Accelerate, and Alien Force Ben who's switching between Big Chill and Echo. They distract Alien X before he then blows them away. Then, in the blink of an eye, OG Ben punches down on him as way big, thus temporarily stunning him for a few seconds. Gwen 10 takes advantage of this and swiftly takes the Omnitrixes before handing the appropriate one to Reboot Ben. Meanwhile, Alien X teleports away from everyone as he's ready to destroy them all in a single, massive energy blast. But then he's stopped by not one, but two time beams by two clockworks. It turns out right away that the time beams are coming from both Omniverse Ben and Ultimate Alien Ben. With this, they're able to restrain him and weaken him to some extent, but they won't last for long. Though Alien X is exhausting himself, he's gradually fighting back against their beams. Luckily, it's here that Reboot Ben steps in by defeating Alien X, similar to how he did it with forearms, except it's by Shockrock. Personally, I believe the last part holds some significance because not only is Shockrock one of Reboot Ben's most powerful aliens, but because at the start of the movie, Ben was still in that mentioned stubbornness. So now that in my scenario, he used Shockrock, it plays into the fact that compared to the last time he used that alien, Shockrock is being used again for the right reasons. Also, you can say that Shockrock started and ended the movie, so it seems appropriate. Anyway, you can say for my version that it keeps with the theme of teamwork while maintaining Alien X as that big threat that the movie established him to be. The reason for this is because by having the Benz and Gwen fighting with their strongest or fastest aliens in a more coordinated way, it indirectly points out just how dangerous Alien X is. So by the time the movie ends, it makes better sense for Alien X to give up because he has seen just how powerful his counterparts are. But hey, like I said at the start of the video, the movie itself is good. I just thought I should push out this video to point out the two main flaws that I found. No movie is perfect, especially a Ben 10 movie. And believe me, I've seen most of them. There's always going to be something wrong, even if it's not noticeable or not a big problem to the plot. So it's really up to you to decide if this movie was good or not. And that's where I end this video. But before I go, it's time for me to read out the comments from my previous video. Netflix might have done their Avatar The Last Airbender adaptation. Pluton Black said, if this ends up being true, then my greatest fear is that people will claim that it's better than the original or more relatable, despite basically just being a high school AU. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, but I'm tired of seeing old franchises get recycled for a modern audience. Same here. While I get why they do it, I feel it's actually cheating the wider audience out from experiencing a rich and original story. After all, can you imagine popular franchises like Star Wars, Terminator, Planet of the Apes, or even those Blue Aliens Avatar as movies that take place in high school? Sure, they can exist in fanfics, but still, can you imagine that kind of setting in a movie? And sure, you can argue that the main characters in those franchises are teenagers. However, the Avatar world is just as rich and expansive as those movies, if not more. So though I can't confirm it, you might end up being right about some people who may claim that this upcoming adaptation is better than the original. It kind of happened with Netflix Death Note. Would that make them right? I can say, everyone has their own preferences. So if they enjoy generic Hollywood tropes and not original content, then let them live in that bubble. They made us say, OMG, the intro had me XD. Thanks, I'm glad the effort I made into it wasn't in vain. I won't lie, I had second thoughts about it, so I appreciate the impact it had on you. And that's about it, my lovely viewers. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have anything to say about it, please let me know in the comments. I'll respond to each and every one of them at the end of my next video. So be sure to subscribe and click on that beautiful notification bell so you know when that drops. Thank you for watching. This has been Max from Facts and Fiction Studios, and I'll see you next time.